All right, everyone. We are back with the next episode of the Raiders Rambles. I am Joel, your chief host of the show, and joining me as always is none other than my co-host Noble.
And as the seasons change, it gets ass cold at night.
Well, in
Hi.
fact, it actually happened to me yesterday. It went from super cold when the day before that, it got super toasty, and then we get a massive rain dump, and then the cold shift happens. Ain't season's fun.
Yeah, especially when the previous one tries to claw its way back into the environment.
No, it's like the next one has
Mm,
decided it wants to start early, and the previous yes, and like
Oh, yeah,
in
no,
between,
start
the
early.
previous one wants to, say it's I'm not done yet.
Yeah, it just rears its ugly head for a couple of days and then back down again.
hmm All right, now joining us as always we have Avira.
Hello. Happy Friday, guys. Glad to be back as always. And yeah, during like this time period of our planet shifting seasons, today was it was warm in the morning, it was about 54 degrees, Fahrenheit, and then it was dark, humid, and then it dropped down to like the 40s. Tomorrow it's gonna be even colder, like in the 30s. But just a week ago, it was like 71 degrees out. So I yeah, it fluctuates. It's weird. This is kind of like that time period where, because I wanted to start planting some of my flowers a few days ago when it was like 70 degrees out. And I was like, no, it's probably going to be like 35 in like a week. And that turned out to be the case. So yeah, weather is kind of weird around this time. So meh. That's something weird that like from the northern hemisphere to the southern hemisphere, like it's so
Like I
does
want
it.
to stop. I want to stop playing a gun. No, you can't. It's too insane for that. No.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it's gonna get warmer for us, but colder for you guys. So, anyways,
Yeah. Right. That's the fun part.
yeah.
Fun part when we watch it all flip. Now then.
Yeah. I hope so. I'm so sick of winter. Oh, it freaking sucks.
Oh, I can believe that though. So,
Mhm.
on an offbeat, off-topic sort of thing, I just got told of a funny, weird thing, and I feel I'm of mixed minds of showing you this just to preface the show with, because it's just so oddbally weird. So, yeah, my relatives are now vaping
Oh, no.
and getting high, discarded e-cigarettes due to fruity aromas. Oh my.
Hey, the Tasmanian wallabies did it first, but that was poppies, so.
Yeah, next thing you know, except we're in the country that produced crazy tracks like smoke weed every day, and then I got high. So,
And this is why you should dispose of your used vapes and cigarettes properly so local wildlife doesn't end up getting addicted because, oof.
right, because you would
Yes.
think that their food, they would think like their keen sense of smell, they'd think it's food.
They must, yeah. So let's see, in quotes here, it says eating a vape is not part of their natural diet. Oh, really? Says uh, wait, oh, hold on. Eating a vape is not part of their natural diet. The components aren't something they encounter in nature, but they could gnaw at it and eat at it and consume. Oh, some of the microplastics too. Yeah, the nicotine and the microplastics. Oh no, so they're getting sick from both the plastic and the nicotine.
Oh,
I can just totally see like a squirrel chilling up in a tree, like just vaping on like an e-cig found on the floor. He's just like, yo, what up, guys?
like they take the vape. It's like they find the vape, they take the vape up there, and then they just take the vape up to their little up to their little nest, and then just you're damn right. Just,
It becomes just a part of squirrel culture. You know, like if there's this certain area or all the kids are vaping and they leave their stuff out, like, oh yeah, that's just another squirrel. They just
My
do that here.
concern is if they start hoarding the vapes into trees, what happens when the batteries go critical?
That's a good question. That they could actually be not just like a poison hazard, but they could light on fire or something. Yeah, that could actually be pretty bad. They're not doing that, are they? Like, are they hoarding them?
Some of I've seen apparently they've seen seeing him pick up vapes and that sort of stuff. I mean,
Yeah. So if they're doing that, then they probably are putting them in like a lot of like all at once. I don't know. That might be dangerous.
like apparently,
That's just really
somebody, apparently in an old blog, not RSPCA, somebody found a bird that died after swallowing a vaping device, and a squirrel trying to bury one in a different other country.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah, that would really suck. And it was like some bird that swallowed like a cartridge or whatever, and like the battery. Oh, goodness, that sucks.
Now it would be a bit of a talking conversational piece if the said vaping device or whatever happened to be acorn shaped, just because.
It's yeah, that's gonna be their next adventure.
It's like in their squirrel brain, it just goes in and is like, I smell fruit. I smell this, so nice thing.
Yeah. So, how did this article end? Did they come to any conclusions?
I think at the end of the day, they've kind of saying it's they just basically make the all catch in all in saying that vaping is hazardous. Please dispose of vapes, and sadly, and there have been reports of pets dying after consuming liquids from vapes.
Okay, so interesting PSA. Don't get the squirrel hooked on nicotine. It's bad for you. It's your fault. Okay.
Oh, good grief. No, Boombox, no. We're not doing this movie series again. There's an idea. Cocaine squirrels.
Ooh, a sequel.
Yeah, right? The cocaine bear.
Yeah, but that was based on a true story.
Yeah.
To a point.
True.
The plot line for this one is probably like a squirrel who knows the smell of cocaine of whatever, confuses the smell of cocaine with whatever, and then goes feral or something.
Maybe it's a different drug. Maybe it's like heroin squirrel or acorn methamphetamine.
Hey, look, honestly, you'd better off facilitate a drug that that plays to squirrels' natural proclivities for hyperactivity or something.
Oh yeah, maybe like caffeine, like coffee. I mean, or cocoa beans. Those could be
maybe what about psychedelics? Magic mushrooms, LSD.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. That'd be a good one.
Right, and then after that, the whole story, the plot line of the drug squirrel becomes this big fever dream, and you'd probably be keen on injecting some Rick and Morty shit in there.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I was thinking about Rick and Morty when we first started talking about this topic, about how he's like, "Oh shit, you messed with squirrels, Morty. We're gonna change universes. They control the world, Morty." One of the best jokes. You don't mess with squirrels.
Good grief! Like all of these, I just stuff that I'm not even sure I even needed to see or want, but here we go. Look at him, just
hang on
up there.
Have they been actually eating the vapes, or they've just been sucking on them?
It looks like he's sucking on it. what does it actually say? Oh, yeah, I think they are. I think they actually are. They're very smart squirrels. Jolt, you're a very smart man, I must say.
Hmm.
Same thing with like other rodents, like mice and rats. Like they get addicted to substances and they know how to like trigger responses. It's like they got rats addicted to nicotine plenty of times and cocaine and other drugs. So it would not be surprising if squirrels figured out a way to, oh, when I suck this device, I feel a buzz and they like it. So yeah, I mean, that kind of makes scientific sense.
And when one squirrel sees another squirrel doing it, they want to give it a try.
Peer
It's the
pressure.
same thing with other animals too, like monkeys and that. You like, and and across parts of like Southeast Asia, you've had monkeys basically taking cigarettes, the old-fashioned stuff, not
Yeah.
new, not so much newfangled stuff.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say it was when there was like this island of monkeys where one of them learned how to spearfish and then taught the other monkeys how to spearfish, and now they're like in the Stone Age.
And
They
that's
do that
how we
too.
got in the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, right. Like, what are we doing, guys? Be careful. It's like where we are now with the freaking AI and Skynet's gonna happen soon. It's like, didn't know you get Skynet? Anyways, going off on a tangent there, but damn. So what is their solution for the squirrels that are vaping? Like, what do they say? Just be careful about where you put your crap. Like, don't leave your vapes out. Dispose them properly,
Yeah, dispose
or
them
just don't vape at all.
appropriately, just do all of that.
Oh,
Okay.
sure, that's going to
All
work.
right, well,
Right, and that's of
some
course,
solution.
if you basically want to be the most, like if the whole disposal thing doesn't work outdoors and that, then of course you have to be wary about the trash pandas getting the getting high off that stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, either getting no, I feel like squirrels are more adept or more easily influenced to be getting high off of the vapes. They're not going to be eating it. Raccoons are a lot bigger, and they probably would just eat it because they eat like literally everything.
Hmm.
Sorry, Diesel, if you're listening, but yeah, raccoons eat freaking everything. Squirrels, though, I feel like they're a lot more practical in their approach when they see something like this. That's sustenance, but in like a different way.
Hmm.
We spent way too much time on this topic.
I think so too. It's just a little bit of an oddball thing. See that the animal kingdom has found this new buzz. Taking
It's
on with
pretty
this
cool, yeah.
with this live comment, no Shackle. Over the hedge has taken a dark turn. Nah, more like they've taken a bit of a high turn.
No, it's post 2020, so this is just modernism at its finest.
Hmm. Yeah. So, with that said, we've got we've got a lot of other stories to share with you. Not not as oddball as that. And yeah, please don't just leave vapes lying around. Otherwise, popped up animals can come and get you, or they'll just be too mellow too. Whatever. Anywho, next item we have on the show is another saga of another person trying to do another thing with the Lord of the Rings. Yes, it's
Now, I have to admit, I haven't actually looked into this at all, but I do have a question. Has
right.
Stephen Colbell written anything else that's been published?
Oh,
No,
spoiler
except for
alert!
doing the whole live
It's,
comedy
it's,
thing for the
it's
whole
Stephen
last 11 years, which
Colbert.
is basically getting yeeted from soon.
Yeah. So Stephen Colbert, that's a very good question to bring up, Noel. Because yeah, I know he has his late night show, right? But does he write his own material, or is he kind of just the host and just does what they want, like the agenda that he's
Well,
pushing? I feel like
years ago,
sometimes
I
hosts
used to
will, but
watch
in
the
this
guy,
case, yeah,
and he had his own team of writers.
yeah. Well, yeah, okay.
Right, but in this case, as according to the article, that won't be the case because he's going to be doing it. He's going to be co-writing it with his son, screenwriter Peter McGee, and Philippa Boyens, one of the original trilogy's screenwriters.
Now, here's the important thing.
Oh, hang on.
The only thing, that, in my opinion, that really matters: did they read the books? Are they fans of Tolkien?
Hold on, Avira.
Are
That's
they
not what I'd be asking.
Oh,
The
really?
screenwriter that worked on other material, what did he work on?
Oh,
There was
well, Peter
one.
McGee, his
Yeah,
son.
that's
Let me
important.
have a look.
Sorry. Yeah, that's my question too. Like, what else did he do that was successful? And what kind of message are we expecting to get from him on the works that he's previously done? That's important to look into. Oh, for sure. So, what did he do? Does he have any credited works that he's written,
Oh,
directed,
well, I'm
anything
looking
like
at.
that?
I'm just going to do a quick search right now, and of course, he's
Yeah, that's an interesting thing
All
to
right,
look
Peter
into.
McGee is producer and director for The Hobbit: The Desolation of Smaug, 2013. Where's Noah? At the Crossroads, Down
Yeah.
Yonder.
Uh-huh.
Wait, The Hobbit, Lord, The Hobbit, the. But he's more. That was more of an an acting role rather than a writing role in the last chapter. In that
Yeah.
chapter of The Hobbit.
I'm still talking about Stephen Colbert, right?
Right, and
Yep.
that's his son, Peter. Yeah, Peter McGee.
And he was in The Hobbit? I didn't know he did anything with The Hobbit.
Right, his son Peter McGee got like a minor acting, position in the Hobbit: The Desolation of Smaug movie. But of course, but if they ever got like Philippa Boyens, who's writing the who wrote the Hobbit, who wrote part of the Hobbit trilogy, turning it from book to film, then surely it can't be all that bad.
Well,
especially if they have to
yeah,
get right,
okay.
especially doubly more so if they got the number one person, Peter Jackson, who's been largely in charge of turning the Lord of the Rings into film.
Yeah, he really did work that movie magic for sure. Okay, so the dedication is there. It seems because like that's the most important for me. Not just like, oh, what did he do in the past that was successful or not, but of course that's important when it comes to like pushing an agenda or like politics or whatever, because that's what I would imagine Stephen Colbert would do. He has some kind of message he wants to promote, crap like that, or maybe
Well,
because
hang on.
show he's forced to say these things. I mean, I don't know.
It sounds like he's got family who already is doing this. So my guess would be he was sort of dragged along by his son.
No,
or dragged in
you
by
don't
his
think
son.
he wants to do it? Well, maybe dragged along, but you don't think he wants to be a part of this? Like that seems like a big opportunity.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah, it's a big
Yeah, I'd love to be a part of
opportunity,
it.
if his son is basically good chums with Peter Jackson, great.
Yeah, so right. That's interesting. And they're going to be doing a series like this. He's writing it. If he does have the imagination for it, so that's what I would want to look into. Like if imaginative works, right? Things he created himself. And if you're a fan of Tolkien, there's plenty of different avenues you can go down when it comes to just the history and lore of the whole world that he built. The show really does have potential, but it's hard to say though, because no matter how much money you throw at a project, Rings of Power was just a failure. Like, let's be real.
Right, but the problem was the Rings of Power, like Amazon, Peter Jackson got ghosted by friggin' Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
And Amazon basically decided to do the typical fucking Westerner thing, just by being all smug and arrogant and friggin' I know Lord of the Rings better than you did.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing that they did with other, things when they try to adapt it.
Yeah,
So
I have to admit,
Right.
I am on the fence about this, but I really would like to know what he's planning to do with Lord of the Rings.
All right, I got one thing for you here now. I got a thing for you. Okay. Chuck Dixon, the writer who adapted The Hobbit into a graphic novels, has this reaction to say about, Colbert doing his thing about.
Okay.
Right, and he's what Colbert was trying to say, like what his vision about this new Hobbit, his new Lord of the Rings thing. The thing I found myself
No,
reading over and over again were the 6 chapters early on in the Fellowship of the Ring that you never developed in the first movie back in the day. It's basically the chapter Free's company through to Fog of the Barrow Downs, and I thought, oh wait, maybe that could be its own story that could fit in the larger story. Could we make something that was completely faithful to the books while also being completely faithful to the movies you guys have already made? And so,
yeah,
they went and talked to this. Yeah.
that's a good idea. And I find from someone who's like thinking about wanting to direct and like how to do it, when you're looking at iconic movies, like the Peter Jackson trilogy and the Hobbit films, even there's a lot of things that were from the book that you just couldn't add to the movies because they're like deleted scenes essentially because they weren't like really plot oriented or they just but throwing them in there, like incorporating them, for example, including even like Tom Bombadil, like that's something that Tolkien fans would know about. Not seeing it in the movies at all, but that's a way to bring in more people who are fans of the original
Mhm.
Tolkien works. So I can see why they would do things like that. You know, it makes sense. But you have to be like a real fan of Tolkien though, to like know all those references and do it properly.
Right.
Like make it seem good. Like you can't just throw Tom Bombadil in there and make it some goofy joke. Like it's Tom Bombadil, right? Like if you're a fan of Tolkien, y'all know about that. Okay, I'm just saying. So, uh,
Okay, here's a little something interesting as well. That some people of Tolkien may or may not know is this here. The log line for the for the film here, of course, while Cobra thinks it's the Fellowship of the Ring he's focused on, is that this one here is going to be like what a sequel to the after the Return of the King. After follows the steps of the Hobbit's children.
hmm. Yeah. Okay. So this is just totally new then. This is just essentially fan fiction by a new author
Could
of what
be.
happens during the Fourth Age, right?
Right, or like after what
Okay.
happens after the Return of the King, because
Sure.
at that point, I think even like Tolkien even knew like he could have saw that as a good spot to end this trilogy on.
Yes. Well, he did create something called the New Shadow, which was
Yes,
basically a new threat in the Fourth Age when evil was rising again, and it was based on old magic cults and things like that. But he did quickly. I think he only wrote about 14 pages of it before he scrapped the idea because he kind of just wanted his world to end at this point until Dagor Dagorath, which is when the
right,
whole
and
world ends.
so
Or
like
the-
as Tolkien says, I did regarding the New Shadow, I did begin a story placed about 100 years after the
Yeah.
downfall of Mordor, but it proved both
Mhm.
sinister and depressing. Since we are
He
dealing
thought it
with
was
men,
too dark.
yeah, it is inevitable that we should be concerned with the most regrettable feature of their nature, their quick satiety with good. So that the people of Gondor in times of peace, justice, and prosperity would become discontented and restless, while the dynasts descended from Aragorn would become just kings and governors like Denethor or worse.
Hmm.
So
And
in
that's a
that,
good way to end
yeah,
it, I think.
that's what
Maybe I'm
that's what
wrong.
Tolkien saw could have happened. Like if men were who just basically go back down to the natures that they had in that case.
Yeah, like delving back into like magic cults and things like that, worshiping false idols and being just more
Yeah,
violent and stuff like that, corruption.
it's all this it's
Yeah,
all the
I could
stuff
see
of
that.
people that have from the chronology back from the Bible and what have you. And I see where he went with
Right.
that. So the next line he said, Tolkien wrote about in the letters. I found that even so early there was an outcrop of revolutionary plots about a center of secret Satanistic religion while Gondorian boys were playing at being orcs and going around doing damage. I could have written a thriller about the plot and its discovery and overthrow, but it would be just that. Not worth doing. So yeah, scrapped it.
Okay. That's a self-critical and respectful way to to reflect upon his work. Okay, I mean, it's Tolkien. Like, I can totally respect that. Oh, okay.
Yeah, because again, like like it's at that point where you have to, where you do also ask the question: is this a good note to end the story on?
Well, I guess you could say that the the movies had a bit too many endings. Well, that's like the meme. For like true fans, it's totally not. But like, it was the never-ending ending, especially during the extended edition. But they want to wrap everything up like they did. So like, what do you know?
Yeah.
Well, I'll have to keep an eye out to see exactly how this goes, and let's just hope this time it's not
It's not the clusterfuck
like
that
recent
Amazon
existence.
basically turned it into.
Yeah,
It'd be really
I
funny if
hope
a
they don't.
comedian is able to turn around and actually bring back something good to the franchise instead of just taking a dump on stage and calling it, gold.
Mm. Yeah.
Well,
We'll
yeah,
see.
that remains to be seen. Like along with all that other stuff, with what they're doing, all that stuff, and delving into all the what Tolkien wrote, and most importantly, the big tell-all is the decisions that they made for casting, which we have not gotten any details of because this is still an early announcement.
Yeah,
That
I feel like it's gonna be rough. Peter Jackson, I'm sure you've seen the like the behind the scenes of when it came to like depicting the races of Middle Earth. How he wanted to be as true to the books as possible without injecting any kind of like modern bias into it. I thought that was a very respectful way to approach filmmaking, which he did, and that's why he made most of the people, of European descent because that was Tolkien's vision. It was supposed to be the Western European kind of like history, from ages past. Like that was the whole idea behind it. So that just made more sense. Pretty cool idea. And like that's not racist or anything. Like that's just a
no,
storytelling.
it's
Like
just rooted in
a
the
proper way.
context in which Tolkien wrote it in, and thus.
Yeah.
If you want a good example about how not to fuck it up, don't turn around and tell a Chinese tale with a bunch of people from Africa.
Yeah, you're right.
No, seriously, you want to do that kind of level of race swapping, and just ugh.
No,
Yeah.
if that's in that sort of case, no. But
Although,
again,
no, honestly, I'd love to see someone do that as a parody.
Oh,
I
yeah.
bet
Okay.
you
I can see
you don't have to go too far. Like it wouldn't even be called a parody. It'd just be called modern audience.
Oh, no, I can't remember what the name of that movie was that Egypt, basically the president or whatever of Egypt turned around and just banned it outright because of
Cleopatra.
Yeah, that's the one.
Netflix was the one that did
Oh
that.
yes, that's right. Oh my goodness, the government of Egypt rejected the Cleopatra because they race swapped her. Yeah, that was weird. Like that makes that this is one of those moments that seems like we live in like a simulation. Because how in the crap can we live in a timeline like this, where some documentary can post that Cleopatra was black, and then the government of Egypt rejects it? Like, what are we doing? What are we doing here? That's so weird to me, man. What the bonkers, dude? I
Although,
don't know.
honestly, if you were to change things up in Lord of the Rings, you could technically bring in a black actor or actress.
Well, because
Then in
they're
which
not really
case it would be justified if only under the facet of like calling him like the Rohirrim.
Well, if you were to introduce something like a dark version of some of the races, for instance.
maybe the Haradrim or like the people from like the Corsairs, maybe, or from Rune, like Easterlings, like they were the bad guys. But the people of Gondor, like they were depicted as fair skinned, like just in the novels they were. So, what do you want? Like, he was being truthful to it. The Ents look like
Yeah.
trees. They didn't look like teapots.
Yeah, it's all there. There's all sorts of groundings and things for it though, so that's the fundamental of it though. But either way, I guess all we can do is just hold on fast, hold fast to what we have, see what happens, and if it's just shit, then it's shit, just like the Rings of Power. And in that case, if we still have Tolkien's timeless work, and then we just simply hold fast to the classic trilogy of movies, the Hobbit trilogy of movies, and of course the books themselves.
Right on. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
And speaking of which, I hear somebody in this room has began to start his collection of the Tolkien books.
And to the utter shock of myself, I managed to find The Hobbit and an old copy of it at the first store I went to. Yikes.
But you got a good deal out of it.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, definitely. I swear my luck on smaller things is psychotic sometimes. It's like, oh, I want a book.
There you go. And then you go to these secondhand shops, and what do you know? There's always a piece of treasure somewhere lying around in wait.
And sometimes I've got to spend a little bit extra money to get what I want, but I mean,
Believe
half
me,
the time it's far less than buying it new.
Yeah, believe me, that's how I got my my most prized novel, the first printing of it, but it was all like brand new in a brand new bookshop, in a bargain bookstore, but it was still in brand new nick at the time.
Lucky.
Yeah, and I got a good pricing deal out of it too. It's truly something else. And now, and now if you look at the prices of those books on eBay or what have you, it's crazy.
I mean, the book I picked, The Hobbit that I picked up, I could possibly sell it if there was someone wanting to buy one and make a decent profit. Even the listing I found online, even if I sold it for half the price, I'd be making a decent amount of money from it.
Oh yeah, for sure. You stumbled across a hidden gem, and there's definitely collectors out there that would love to have a copy of that. It's collectible. I mean, hell, I would want
doubly
one.
more so if it's like the earlier the printings, then the higher the price.
Mm-hmm. And of course, better condition. That's important too when it comes to collectors and stuff. Like, there's a price range. If it's in crappy condition, it might be worthless. If it's like pristine, moderately, it all depends on the market.
Yeah. So, with that
So
said,
was
we'll
it
move
like
on.
a pretty good condition, or like was it signed by the author or anything like that, or is it just a pretty standard issue?
No, it's pretty worn out. I've seen worse, but I like reading old books. Well,
yeah.
There's
some nostalgia to it.
Right, and it's all just like the yellowing of the pages just makes it feel like it's holding up really, really well.
You're reading an old story and not something from 4 years ago.
Right. Still, there's nothing wrong with all that in reprints. To preserve the story for a future generation. That's why we have reprints.
Oh, reprints are fine. It's just when someone turns around and reworks the whole thing, and then
then that's a fuck. Anywho, then let's go on to the next item of the show. Put them on era. So we have lost another AI tool.
Yay?
Yay, maybe.
I don't know. I don't know if I would say yay to that. I would just say yay.
Yeah, a very tentative. Yeah, I know what you mean. So Disney's open AI deal collapses after Sora video generation service shuts down. Well, that didn't take long now, did it?
No, it did not.
I wanted to know exactly how much it costs to run that application. The other thing is whether or not the website's going to remain active or if that's going to go down as well.
That's right. You're bringing up some major ones. So let's say
What do you mean, like the website's still up? We can't be using it to generate videos anymore at all? Because
So I
this
never
was
interacted with the app, with the Sora
Hmm?
app itself. The only thing I'd interact with was the actual Sora website from OpenAI.
Okay. So you've never used Sora to actually like upload a video or upload like a picture or use a prompt to generate videos from it before?
No, I would generate images.
Right.
Okay.
But
Oh, it
video
could be actually.
generators, I'm really, really iffy about, and of course, and I'm the kind of person who's not willing to fork out for that sort of thing yet
Yeah.
at this present
What,
point in time.
yeah. Whatever you do not, under any circumstances, try to get AI to generate something that's novel or unique. It doesn't fucking work.
Yeah, you end up getting Loeb, freaking demons. Loeb, that thing.
Mm.
That's a whole conspiracy in itself. But no. So when it comes to Sora, does that mean that this is the? Please just reiterate what exactly Sora is. Is this the thing that Disney used to like generate like its characters doing whatever you wanted it to
Right.
do?
Like, to
Okay, right.
people have been using Sora as a tool to generate creative videos of stuff using licensed characters doing whatever the heck they want to do with the power of prompts.
Right. Okay. And now OpenAI pulls the plug on Sora. So what does that mean? Like you can't use it anymore, or is it just
So
not?
OpenAI
It's
is
just
shutting
gone.
down the standalone Sora app is really what it is. So
So it
the
can't be
thing is,
downloaded anymore.
they might be shutting down the app, but OpenAI is not abandoning AI video technology entirely. They're just pulling away from Sora as a platform and and consolidating and changing their strategy. Like they're changing, they're still gonna do video generation, but it's gonna manifest in a different form, possibly.
I see what they're doing here. They're seeing how creative people got. They gave them a taste of what AI could do. And because they probably gathered, I can't even imagine how many hundreds of billions of data points at this point to realize, okay, this is how we hook people on AI. And now we're just going to pull it and then make a new version that's more restricted, that can only do what we want it to do. And people have to pay for it. That's exactly what Grok did. Once they lifted their censorship for like 2 weeks, and then they made you pay $30 a month for it, like they did the same thing.
Yeah, but
I'm wondering if the AI
um,
bubble is going to pop.
Oh, it's going to take a while for that to kick off. My understanding is you actually had to pay for Sora anyway. You
Right.
could do free stuff, but for the more like, you were better off paying for it.
Do you mean like the time you wasted watching ads or having to skip them and things like that? Like
No, you
wasting
have to
time?
pay for
Avira,
credits to generate the thing,
yeah.
Like, because the way I think,
Okay,
my
I've never
understanding
used
is
Sora
this.
to generate anything, so I'm
With
not sure. Yeah?
Yeah, with other AI generators, my understanding is like, you pay money, you get credits in which to be able to do your AI stuff, whatever you want to generate videos, whatever, mess around with it. It costs a certain amount of in store credits, which you have to top up by shelling out with subscription or one-time payments. And
Right. I got that.
that's how they pretty much kept the the data centers running.
So they just decided to see. This is like where I'm questioning why they even bothered to get rid of it.
Or
It was
or
costing
what
them so much
what
money to run the data centers, like they weren't making enough. Because I feel like
I'm not
AI
sure
is just
why they
exploding
did
right
that,
now. I
but
can't imagine they wouldn't be making money off of this, or is it maybe just too much for them to handle and keep up with?
Well, no, the problem is they don't have enough people paying for it. So there are a lot of individuals like myself who would generate the amount of free stuff they can, but not pay.
I see. So it's getting too popular where they can't afford to keep it free. They have to raise prices just to keep it going.
Or they remove the free tier, so everyone has to pay. But the part I'm curious about is Disney.
right, and that's the big draw that everyone is talking about, because remember, We once talked about how Disney partnered up with Sora, made a $1 billion deal that Disney Plus
Mhm.
was going to allow people to make and consume its consumers to consume AI generated content powered by Sora AI that people made using Disney's licensed characters.
Yes, and Disney, of all people, would be able to afford the potential loss or quote unquote risk investment costs going into this, given a certain amount of time. So, yeah, of course, they would think this is a good investment because AI is, of course, going to be, the future of things. So they saw this as a good investment. I'm wondering why. Maybe they saw something bad, or maybe they thought that they couldn't control it of how people were using the system.
It's a
And I
crazy
thought
thing. I
maybe if we
mean,
can put up a paywall and then control it, or maybe better censorship somehow.
because
So I
I
feel
don't
like
know.
that's
Like,
where it's headed.
I think it's got a bit of like a lot of weird ramifications to this because we all thought
Mhm.
AI was going to revolutionize all these stuff, but there was still questions about the foundation in which it was built on. Like people raise
Yeah.
questions about intellectual property usage, actor likeness rights, the future of production pipelines, which are all which all can scale into like in the big picture of if AI is going to be the future of movies, then yes, you've got to address all of these questions.
That's right. Even when they what movie was it? Was it Rogue One, where they had the actor who played Tarkin, who died like decades ago? They artificially generated him as an actor. Like that's kind of spooky. I wouldn't say that's
No,
necessarily
Disney's
AI, but
de-aging
that's
thing is
still.
spooky.
Yeah, exactly. And it's only going to get worse from there. They're going to use not only de-aging, but entirely generated AI
So
for dead people. And they're going to be having ghosts as actors. Like, that's what it's going to be,
what I'm
if
looking
that's the
at here,
dystopian world.
what I'm looking at in the news article itself, it seems to be questioning whether or not AI and Hollywood can, meld together. My answer would be
Hmm.
absolutely no, which unfortunately means that company like Adobe
Mhm.
is going to have to, either strip AI out of their software, or companies are going to have to. Hollywood will have to find something else. They'll have to start using things
Yeah.
like Blender and Affinity.
I mean, honestly, I could say a gazillion things about Hollywood, but the root of their problem is not tools or AI. But that's a different story. That they have to learn for themselves, and I could spoil the answer to them, but that I'd have to charge them for it.
Personally, I would
Oh,
like to
man.
see. I would. I would much rather see movies and TV shows actively stay away from AI. I don't mind if there's going to be some indie stuff that relies on it,
Mhm.
but anything established really should keep AI out of their whole process, or at least as much as
Right,
possible.
the whole creative process, like, because
Yeah,
people are
see, this
experimenting
is
with.
where I think I see a technological progression problem. Because it's not that like people like indie artists, sure they might use AI like as a shortcut, but that's not really what we're talking about here. It's more
I
like
wouldn't
large
use.
companies using programs like let's say an editing software, but it's AI enhanced, and that's just what the company uses. It's going to get to a point where you really can't escape it. Where if you want to work for an animation company, the company is already using programs that utilize AI already. So you can't really get rid of it. Sure, there's some human creativity involved there, but it's going to be very, very limited because the company is just taking so many AI related shortcuts where that's just how they operate in general. Eventually, Disney is going to be doing this, where there's not going to be a department for hand drawn animation, like at all, or
They don't have
film
it anyway.
even. Like they just don't get rid of all of it.
Avira, Disney's ditched hand drawn animation for a long time now.
Yeah, that's why I brought that up as an example because they're going to do that to people. Okay, like there's not going to be people anymore. If they can literally like generate you, like your voice, your likeness, everything. So for the time we have being, you know, people are going to want a disclaimer that says no AI or AI used. But I think it's inevitable because companies are already going to be using these things. You really can't escape it.
Right. Now, there's a lot of ramifications to all this, and what we're seeing in the big picture, of course, like, we've got competitors and all of that are trying itself, that are basically developing this tech more and more, but there are more, ramifications which I really want to get to round out this whole segment. Like, the collapse of the Disney's deal with Sora and all of that. So just a few months ago, the whole partnership was being framed as, a major leap forward for streaming, a new frontier for storytelling, and a big commitment to emerging technology, and now it's all gone. So where does that leave us then? So the bottom line is, it's collapsed, the deal's collapsed, a big hype technology has lost momentum overnight, and the the movie industry is still trying to figure out what AI actually means for its future.
That's a good question to ask. Like, what does it
Well, I
really
can
mean?
give an
Just
answer right now
new
for what it's
tool?
causing. It's one giant ass headache.
It's causing a
Yeah,
big ass
headache on, like,
headache,
how to utilize it.
and
Yeah.
RAM prices and all that to shoot up astronomically.
Well, it's like, did they use it to write scripts, to generate music, to make lyrics, to write poems, for lines for their characters? Because ChatGPT is already creepy enough of how intelligent it is, of like how it could suggest things. Like, if you're an amateur writer, you could use it to make a pretty convincing movie script. So I'm just wondering how many creative jobs are going to be replaced by AI. And if maybe Disney saw this with Sora and they're just like, yo, we don't care anymore. Like, maybe they're just going to put up a paywall or something, but like, why else would they do that? Like, seriously, why? Because it used to be free. Either the data centers cost too much or they find some way to make a profit. It has to be one of those two. They didn't just say, oh, we made a boo-boo and just like not want to invest anymore. It's like $1 billion deal.
Well, that's when a competitor swoops in like Microsoft and just
right, or
gobbles
like,
it all up.
or even Seedance and Grox, can swoop in
Companies like
and
those are more
see deal,
oriented. They would have like more team.
But here's the problem too. Like, it might create the same damn thing. Like, it'll also, the deal. They try to make a deal and it'll collapse. Same thing. And of course, people have The thing is, people haven't yet to figure out the what the implications of such AI technology would mean for an industry at this point in time.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, we really don't know.
So yeah, I guess that's pretty much a note to where we're going to leave it at now, because we can watch AI develop, see it, use it as a tool, but until they know what it really means, then yeah.
Watch people go completely off the charts.
So, one last item for this thing here. Now, here we have another article, different thing. Sorry guys, we're making Pokemon and Magic the Gathering for the girls now.
Oh yeah, boy. This is going to go well.
Headline. Yeah. This headline just screams like 2018. Like what they were trying to do back then. Okay. Well, what do they mean by this?
Okay. So it's like, okay. It's just so funny. Like, they're watching, like, in recent events, 2025 Oscars, one of the actresses, McKenna Grace, is that she had, hidden pockets, and stuffed in them were Pokemon card packets that she was just going to open up, off, in the dressing room, off stage, wherever. And of course, me nuts. Like, and then now, Team USA gold medalists, opened up Magic the Gathering cards during the game, during the closing ceremony, and so. So, but I think honestly, it just seems to be like more of a trading card games that are basically have hit the golden age, and just and people are getting more and more into it. more than
All right. Well,
you know.
where was this? Like, was this like at a convention or some kind of
No,
event?
like we said, it was like it's prolific people. Like they were pulling these packets open in awards ceremonies and in the Olympic Games.
Oh, okay. Well, let's see. It seems like lately all the cool girls are obsessed with trading card games.
Yeah,
A
that's what
few
I was
weeks
going
ago,
for.
Team USA medalist Amber Glenn and Elisa Liu opened up Magic the Gathering cards during the games. Okay, I guess
Uh,
they messed that up.
uh,
Amber even pulled them as she walked during the game's closing ceremony. Trading card games have been long ruined by men who think they're just for the guys and scalpers who think they're more about making money instead of the love of the game. Oh, these small moments reminded me of how much I love Yu-Gi-Oh! When I was younger. But I quit after middle school because I wasn't taken seriously enough as a gamer. A boy once even assumed I cheated him on a card after beating him in a fair and square duel. Although I can indulge in my other nerdy hobbies, video games, and anime in private, Tumblr, whatever, these games require other people to play. Back then I was too young. Okay. So this is
Okay,
obviously
okay,
written by
okay.
a woman who
Yeah,
felt
yeah, it is.
alienated.
And that anecdote is something I want
Anyway,
to
the way
say.
she talks about this.
You know, you know,
They're not
yes.
the boys.
And on that anecdote, I'm just gonna say I'm gonna press X to doubt.
Oh, what?
Yeah,
Like this even happened? Yeah, of course. She's just making a point because she's a feminist. Like,
right.
obviously.
So,
Go on.
out of curiosity, is this some kind of official statement or just some celebrity trying to, pull a fast one?
Like, or maybe trying to say, oh, okay, now we're now we see that the girls are basically getting in onto these nerdy hobbies, or man, now it's time for the girls to do all sorts of so and so.
Yeah, it's more of a social media kind of dopamine hit for clicks. That's pretty much what I'm seeing here. She's like, I'm gonna be different and make a feminist post, and
Right,
nerdy
right, right,
games
right.
are not just for the
And
boys.
so
Okay, you're so
here's
stunning and brave and powerful. Good for you.
yeah, and here's where the thing is gonna keep saying and so. It was like, but now Pokemon Pokopia is one of the highest ranking games of all time, and thanks to Critical Role and Dimension 20, more women are showing their love for other nerdy fare like Dungeons and Dragons. God, get a load of this.
Hey,
We're
okay.
finally reclaiming this space, and it feels long overdue, especially considering how many of my longtime friends can finally feel like they can openly share about their hobbies they once felt like they had to hide in order to be taken seriously. Oh,
No,
What?
I don't get this. I don't see the problem.
Stop.
Okay,
Stop.
continue.
Who would how many girls were openly playing Dungeons and Dragons in the or card games in the early days, in the 80s and 90s?
Okay, maybe not many. They just weren't interested in it. I mean, some
Right,
were.
like because they were interested in other girl things. Okay, that I get.
So you're not being excluded from the group. It's just that it's not something that you were drawn to. That's not a problem. Why are you making it out to be? I remember yonks ago going to a couple of Magic things. There were women there.
Yeah.
And there were extremely small amounts. But then again, if you would go into if you do any research on any like card events, you'll find out that women probably don't want to participate in it, not because it's a boys' club, but because, well,
Oh, are you going to state facts? Is Noble about to state some reality facts? That men or
well,
women
no,
are
it's
different?
just some people are absolutely horrible. It's like Yu-Gi-Oh, for instance. There are rules at tournaments where you have to bathe, that sort of thing.
Oh, yeah, there's that too. That's for the competitive nature of it. And all that, but
No,
yeah.
it's
I
just
thought you were
people
gonna say
don't clean.
something about reality. Okay, yeah. When it comes to things like collectible card games and like nerd culture in general, yeah, it does seem to be the case that seems to trend towards males. Men and women have different brains, they have different interests, different priorities. like collectible card games are something that men tend to like. There's a competitive nature to it. There's oh, I have this card and I can trade you for this. And we can play games, and it's a whole culture. That just makes sense to me. That more into things like that.
Yeah. And I've seen
Right?
women
So,
participate in that,
there are
but
women
I've
that are
also seen.
open-minded.
Have you ever been into a gaming lounge before?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Do all the people who attend bathe? Yeah,
I've
that's
seen
my point.
a few raggedy people before, that's for sure. But
Does
that's
it
what
pass the
happens when
smell
like you go
test
to a
though?
BookCon or a BronyCon or an Anime Con, people are stuff like that, what happens. Some
Right.
people
Does
don't
it?
take care of themselves.
So to get back into this sort of thing, I mean, yes, there is a big overlap between nerd culture, pop culture stuff, nerdy things. Anime is becoming mainstream and is basically being
Mhm.
flashed around in big ceremony events like the Olympics, Super Bowl, whatever, you name it. That's one thing. That's just the culture of stuff of the zeitgeist. Which is neither here nor there. But the thing I want to get into, of course, is, even Magic the Gathering is doing some other stuff too. Like even the CEO of Hasbro said about Magic's future. Don't be surprised if you see us poking into romantasy. Don't be surprised if you see us looking at K-pop bands. Nothing is off the table. And of course, like
Whoa,
maybe like
whoa!
Universes
You
Beyond
lost
with
me at K-pop.
K-pop Demon Hunters to say something relevant. I don't
Well,
know.
how about this? Why not do what Lego did and let's create like girl-themed decks or sets?
Maybe, yes. You know what? You know why, Noble, that makes sense is because Magic the Gathering, they have a system when it comes to the color pie that you can pretty much build any game of that has a lot of characters. You can build them to those color ideologies and make a fun game out of it. It doesn't have to be related to the Magic the Gathering lore about the Elder Dragons or Urza or Mishra or any of the
No,
Nicol
because
Bolas, Planeswalkers. It doesn't have to be anything about that. They could just use the Magic the Gathering formula and apply that to, like, I don't know, any franchise,
that's
really?
exactly because
That's
that's
what
what they've
they
done
did with Marvel.
recently with
Yeah.
in recent times with like we have Final Fantasy and Avatar: The Last Airbender to cite some recent examples.
They should do that with Spyro. Oh my god, I would totally
But
have a Spyro
we'll
the
see.
Dragon Commander deck.
But now they're looking into doing this with like K-pop, romantasy, or whatever, like stuff that
Okay.
girls seem to love. And then
Okay.
off the top of my mind, I'm like, I don't know exactly what would come into play here.
Sorry, it's just
Oh,
when you get
this is
idiots
sad
posting
too.
shit like this, it's just embarrassing and wrong.
Right.
Well, two
I mean,
words come to mind. Cash grab. That's why.
no,
now
it's ridiculous. Oh, the women are going to take over. It's like it was never excluding women. It's just generally most women either didn't have an interest in it or they probably went and had a bad experience. At which
Yeah,
point,
maybe.
policy should be
Right.
put in place in areas so that people bathe before they go, like bloody Yu-Gi-Oh did. The Yu-Gi-Oh card
Yeah, that was
tournaments,
pretty good.
what I'm referring to. That I mean,
Yeah, I don't know what that was all about. It was pretty gross.
right. I
Like,
mean, now
you
I
can
don't.
enjoy a card game without, neglecting your health. I think you
But
could do that.
now, like when you see about it like this, like if they're gonna be pandering to or whatever, or trying to attract a more female audience, do you really think that going into the stuff that women are interested in, like intellectual properties or changing like certain designs of Pokemon or whatever, is going to be the thing that would draw female, an increased amount of female player base?
Mm, no, honestly, I don't think that's going to draw more female players in. I feel like they should just continue doing what they're doing and maybe lean more into the fantasy characters. Maybe even lean into more characters that are non-human based and kind of out there in fantasy, because that could be more relatable to people that have no reference to any kind of thing drawn in reality. If they want to escape the world and like join a fantasy game, maybe if they see some mystical characters, they could relate with those more.
Don't
So
D and D it
might
though.
work.
No.
Well, it could work.
No, don't
I don't know.
don't pull what D&D did, and that's turn
Which is
around
to
and
say,
literally
just
change
basically
everything.
make make a rainbow beholder demon.
Oh yeah, no, that's a little much. No, I don't know about that.
Hmm. But yeah, in the end, though, I just find it very interesting that the whole, that their idea is to Magic the Gathering's idea is to go and look at things like romantasy and that sort of stuff, which is basically,
Mhm.
which is basically like women basically getting their kicks off looking at, fantasizing about like, half naked men and stuff.
Wouldn't that just also serve the gay community?
Kinda, yes, but but that's mainly like the gay community gets their kicks off by by looking at hot men, yes. But it's women that have it all a bit differently. Like they just want to have the hot men to themselves while lecturing you about the hypocrisy of the double standard of women.
Wait, so are we
But that's
talking
neither here nor
about
there.
like the hot artwork that's on the cards that's going to attract people, or like the storyline of the game, or like what do you mean the hot men? Are we talking about people
Right.
like
Like
a
it's
Johnny,
no. It's all in the car. It's all in the card designs. It's all in the card.
so like a Johnny? Okay,
Yeah.
if you know, you know.
Let's just say a Johnny, okay?
Anyway,
Okay, I see what you're going there. I see where you're going with that.
right. Like, what do you mean? Like, are girls gonna like it? I don't know. Maybe. Depends on the
they'd just
girl.
find a Johnny cute, of course, but but of course, a certain subset of I would think that a certain subset, non-zero subset of females would find a Johnny, would go.
Yeah. That's pretty.
Look, one of the things I did for a while is look up. If you go into Reddit and you look up franchises who turn around and they try to do the whole women thing, some of them actually get really pissed off.
Right,
And
but
find
the
it
thing
insulting.
is, the most recent example, I think, like of that, of course, is Resident Evil's Leon Kennedy, and of course, it just and all the women were basically just drawn into that.
Oh.
So I'm not now. That's not to say if your problem is attracting female players to the game, there's ways of going about it, but don't make it out as we're taking the space out from the boys. Get out.
No, because it just seems ridiculous because you're taking away. Look, the idea of turning around and trying to push women out of games like this is just ridiculous because you get less people to play. I mean, the whole point about being able to dominate in any kind of sport or whatever is having more people that you've got an equal footing with. And luckily, because it's not card games aren't supposed to be a contact sport.
You're right, man. No, well, honestly, I mean, anybody could play Magic the Gathering. It's a card game, right? Anyone can have a piece of cardboard and build a deck and play it. It's just the competitive nature, it seems, and the whole nerd culture. It just seems to be the case that most guys are into it, where girls aren't too much into it. But sure, like there's other games that girls play. It's just overall any game really. When it comes to this, guys just seem to be more into it overall. But I get it. Like they want to expand their market, so maybe they could do more games that would make females perhaps more interested in playing a game like this. Yeah.
That's why I said about the whole female themed decks would be fun.
Yeah. Like, but like, would female themed decks be the option to go to? Like, do you think that's what's going to actually
not
make
as
it
an
more
option, but
attractive
more
to
as a way to start attract. Well, first off, to increase
Maybe.
sales because there's that.
But like, if I'm a female, do I want to buy a deck that has like a commander that's a female girl boss, or do I want a dragon? I mean, I'm a
I
guy,
think the
so
best way
I
of
can
going
like.
about this is,
I'm
of
like,
course, to make it
I would want the
related.
dragon.
Hang on, I'm not that familiar with. I'm not that familiar with Magic the Gathering. Do they have any female dragons as?
plenty.
Yes, they do. Her name is Treva the Renewer. She's my commander. She's beautiful.
The most
Fan.
recent
Why
case I
not?
know is Lawhold.
Why not turn around,
Yeah,
create
there's a lot
brand
of
new
people-
art, issue a set of nothing but all female characters that already exist?
What? In that case, just make a new game. What do you mean? No.
Well, no.
Right.
You can, like,
if they want to
use
go down the whole
formula.
yeah, if they want to go down the whole let's try to attract more women, why not create female decks with female monsters and characters in it? It
Well,
shouldn't
there's
be.
plenty of cards that could do that. I mean, that's the nature of the game. You can build your deck however you want.
I mean,
There's
sets that they
plenty.
sell. Can't you buy like I remember years ago you used to be able to like buy a box of cards of a pre-made deck, or
Yeah.
there were like
Yeah, you could
sets
do
as
that.
well you could buy. Well, why not just
But
create a
if Hasbro
female-based
did
set?
that- If Hasbro did that, if they actually did that, like what you're suggesting, a female base set, that would be super cringe and kind of freaking weird. It's like, oh, the girl box, like that would be memed to death. Like, no, they're not gonna do that. But there are plenty of female characters in Magic that you could use to build in your decks. But if Hasbro specifically did that, that would not be a good business decision whatsoever. No way, dude. I'm sorry, I can't see it.
No,
It's
I'd
a good
have to agree
idea,
with you.
but for a private person.
Anywho, but I guess that's pretty much where we're at this point in time. So I suppose that's as much as good notice to wrap this show up. So who would like to make a quick closing statement?
How about a Vera first?
All right. Well, I'm pretty sure I said all of my main points of what I wanted to say, but just as a PSA, guys, Candy Corn Doggo says no pollution. Too many squirrels are addicted to nicotine. It has to end. Please dispose of your vapes properly. All right? Good job. That's it.
All right. So Noble, have you got a hard act to follow now?
I seriously want to see the fallout of the Sora app closing down.
Well, let's
Well,
just
no,
see what
s-
happens. If they still are, if it just makes them all the more scared of doing big deals.
Well, the idea of taking away an app that I'm pretty sure a lot of people are finding really enjoyable is going to cause a huge uproar. It's like when ChatGPT went from version 4 to version 5 and you had like an entire community of people losing their minds because they can no longer play with their waifu or whatever.
Wow.
Crazy stuff. Yeah. Let's see what happens in the future, though. So, as always, I'd like to thank you for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed that as much as we did making the show. As always, you can find our episodes on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, TuneIn, FM, iHeartRadio, BitChute, and more later down the line. Well, that's all we got. This is a signing off. Farewell, and until next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.